Guns, dozens of them, seized by the RCMP, who suspected they were being stockpiled by far-right extremists in the Canadian military. 2 soldiers arrested, alongside 1 former soldier and 1 civilian cadet instructor. The charge? That they were all part of an anti-government militia plotting to seize a piece of land near Quebec City.
That ideology in general is an issue in Canada. Anything that's ideologically motivated is now something that we are worried about for sure.
The police operation was in many ways unprecedented. It's believed to be the first time that an active member of the military has been charged with a terrorism-related offense, and that weapons cache among the largest ever seized in a Canadian terrorism investigation. But suspected cases of extremism are not a new problem for the Canadian forces. They've been trying to get a handle on this issue for close to 30 years. What do you think the military's track record is when it comes to dealing with issues of ideologically motivated extremism within its ranks?
The defense team needs to look at its past recommendations and reports that it did. There were a lot. And a lot of recommendations that were given. And there wasn't a whole lot of consistent follow-up on what they did. And those kinds of challenges...
Derek Montour, who served in both the U.S. and Canadian militaries, was part of a panel the federal government convened in 2020 to study racism and hate in the military.
And the resources to catch those things are limited. And training by leaders on what to do when they see it is limited, so they feel alone. They're not sure where to report. They're not even sure what they're seeing is accurate. All of, I think, those factors then breed a ground of vulnerability for these groups.
The Canadian military's first major reckoning with far-right extremism was in the 1990s, after paratroopers on a peacekeeping mission in Somalia tortured and killed a 16-year-old boy. An inquest revealed the airborne regiment had racist initiation rites, and soldiers often displayed neo-Nazi symbols. The unit was disbanded as a result of the scandal. Concerns about extremism in the military resurfaced in the 2010s when both former and serving members were linked to newer far-right groups, such as La Meute, started by veterans in Quebec.
It might have been McMahon.
And the Proud Boys, a white supremacist group now considered a terrorist entity.
Whatever the Proud Boys represents is not a shared value of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Around this time, a number of reservists were also engaged in more extreme neo-Nazi activity, including one who is now serving a 9-year prison term in the U.S. for his role in a plot to start a race war.
The imagery of the military and centralized authority, the group structure, the hierarchy, these are all things that are super compatible, foundational really to most extreme right thinking.
Stéphane Lemont-Langlois is a professor of criminology who specializes in extremism. He says that while the overall number of extremists in the military may be small, their weapons training can make their radicalization more dangerous.
The extreme rights group, they know this, and this is why they want to get in, or they want to recruit people who have this experience.
Since the pandemic, both active and former military members have become more vocal in expressing anti-government opinions. A number of serving members took part in the 2022 convoy protests. And CSIS has been monitoring Diagolon, a group started by a veteran-turned-online influencer and which advocates for a civil war to create a white ethno-state.
What we've seen is more and more what I call networked individuals coming to the movement.
Barbara Perry is a professor at Ontario Tech University and one of Canada's best-known experts on hate groups. She says in recent years, extremists have been less interested in joining established groups and instead orient themselves around a grab bag of grievances.
So engaging, especially in those online spaces, and consuming and adopting some of the narratives that they are being exposed to, framing, if you will, their own grievances within the context of those conspiracy theories and ideologies. So I think we've seen an uptick in individuals engaging with the movement, more so than the growth of groups.
After years of criticism that it wasn't doing enough to address extremism, the military set up a database in 2020 to track incidents of hate, racism, and other forms of discrimination. The military shared figures with CBC News that show how many reports it has received of service members promoting hate material. with 20 entered into the system this year alone. In a statement, the Department of National Defense said it was committed to making military culture more inclusive, adding, "While we have made great progress, we know that there is still more work to do." Canada is not alone in trying to root out extremism within its military, but in today's highly polarized political environment, these efforts have often been met with suspicion, sometimes outright hostility.
In the course of conducting the review, I was personally, professionally attacked.
Bishop Garrison was asked by the Biden administration to look at extremism in the U.S. military, not long after the attack on Capitol Hill in 2021.
No one's trying to be the thought police. We're trying to ensure that people aren't taking that additional step to act on these types of beliefs.
Canadian researchers say they have also faced hostility from right-wing groups when trying to study extremism in the military. Garrison says the challenge is tuning out such partisan attacks.
Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Don't be afraid to have the awkward conversations around issues like this. This is the awkward conversations that help move these types of issues forward.